Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillah. 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 Assalatu wassalamu ala Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Amma ba'd. Thank you for joining us. Just wanted to do a quick pop-up show for the R2F show. Hold on one second. Go ahead and mute that. There we go. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, there we go. All right. Anyway, so I just want to do a quick pop-up show just to talk about some things that have been coming up in regards to some of the videos that the R2F team has been posting up. And I had a few discussions with some people regarding some topics related to the videos that have come up. And specifically the videos relating to Hussein Adams and another sister that were at one of the TMOA Muslim Christian United Forum events. Yeah, the United Faith events that they had, and where they were basically making statements of shirk. And you know, there's a few things that we can kind of learn from this, especially people that are from the outside now looking in at TMOA members, and for those TMOA members that may not be aware, because most TMOA members actually don't know or aren't aware of the true teachings of Mubarak Jelani or TMOA because they don't study them. So we're just going to go over a few things. I got a few talking points, and at the end, if anybody that's watching, we'll do a quick Q&A. If you have any questions regarding anything, you can ask them. But it's going to be a real short show. We're not going to be here for too long. So first of all, just so anybody, there's no ambiguity, there's no confusion. The statements that they've made are shirk. Do your own research, study up what shirk is, study up the Muslim belief regarding Isa alayhi salam, regarding celebrating Christmas, regarding anything related to that. You'll find that it's very clear. It's unanimous agreement upon all these things. It's not even a question. So I'm not going to go too far into that. You can find that out for yourselves. For some of the TMOA members are apologists or enablers that wanted to find excuses for them, and we're saying, well, they don't mean it this way, they don't mean it that way. That's fine, because that's showing that you actually have something inside you that's saying what they're saying is wrong. But what I want to make clear to everybody is that, one, it is shirk. Allah is above and beyond all of his creation. There is no Allah mixing with his creation. There's no two becoming one. There's no Allah becoming physically manifested in this world. And we have to understand that. So like K2 or Hussein Adams, he uses the word manifestation. And there's different meanings of the word manifestation, and you could kind of make an argument, a weak argument of, you know, different things being manifestations of Allah's attributes. For instance, you know, the bird that goes out every day and finds its food, that's a manifestation of Allah being the Rabb, you know, Allah taking care of his creation. This is not, but the way that Hussein Adams is referring to manifestation is actually talking about Allah's essence, Allah's being manifested in Isa alayhi salam. Okay. And in the video that was posted, he really messes up when he clearly says when two became one.
Yeah.
This is exactly how Christians explain the Trinity. Exactly. You know, so it's very clear what he says there. Then the other sister, it's very sad that when a Muslim says it is difficult to not think of Jesus as God, just that statement right there is very, very problematic. Any Muslim that says it's difficult to not think of Jesus as God, no matter what you try to justify that statement with, obviously something is missing in our teaching, right? As Muslims, we find it very easy to think of Jesus as not being God. We find it very easy for us to, even Rasul sallallahu to think of him as not being God or not being Allah. It's very easy. So those are the two problematic things that happened in those videos, and it's very clear. So we're not going to go into that too much.
And you can't even like debate like it's not what they said, because it's their words verbatim. Like we didn't just like document the video. No, this is their exact words, unedited. All right. It sounds crazy. It's crazy.
Exactly. And that's what, people are going to go down these rabbit holes of, I want to see the whole video, links to the whole videos there. And then you'll see that they'll be silent afterwards and won't go back and say, you know what, you guys are right. They are saying it in the exact context that you guys provided it. We don't have to alter anybody's words. We don't have to find little small clips and, hey, let's play that clip because it presents a certain way. They are saying exactly what they're saying. It's very clear. But one of the key points that I want, especially people that are moving away from this nonsense, that are moving away from the falsehood, especially the people that are giving dawah to people that have these beliefs, people from these cult type groups, is that this is actually their belief. So the people that are on the fence, the people that are coming in the comment sections and trying to justify it or make excuses for them, that's an okay notion to have, but know that by doing that, you are actually refuting what they were taught by Mubarak Jilani. This is exactly what he taught. This is exactly what he teaches. And coming from the perspective of someone being that has worked at those higher levels of those conferences and stuff, where I'm helping people write speeches, where I'm editing people's speeches, none of those speeches are approved or were approved without Mubarak Jilani's direct consent and review and approval. And he gives them specific talking points. Say this, say that. And they might add little stuff in between, but these are specific talking points that they're given. We have a whole memo from Mubarak Jilani reiterating these same type of statements, right? So when you're an apologist and you're making excuses for them, just know that you are actually refuting Mubarak Jilani. This is what he teaches. So step back now and understand first. That's why we kind of emphasize a lot the belief of the seven sultans, right? Because a lot of this nonsense begins with this false belief right there, right? So the whole seven sultan concept is what? That these seven sultans are manifestations of Allah in this world. So if you could believe that your sheikh, Mubarak Jilani, or all these other people that Sultan Bahu falsely accused of being these seven sultans or six sultans or whatever, if you believe in that concept, it's very easy to believe that, okay, well, if my sheikh is a manifestation of God, why couldn't a prophet be a manifestation of God? Why couldn't the Holy Ghost be a manifestation of God? What's so wrong with the Trinity, right? Because if you think about it, the seven sultan concept has three trinities. It breaks the law into 9. Trinity is only 3.
Mm-hmm.
Allah,
it goes hand in hand.
Yep, Allah, the Holy Ghost, or the Holy Spirit, and Isa alayhi salam. 7 sultans is Allah, Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and then the 7 sultans. That's 9.
That's a whole lot of gods. But I mean that like fits into Indian culture, right? And obviously Pakistan and Indians are differently now, but like they're not that far removed. Pakistan was free in 1927, so it hasn't been that long really. And their culture is, because I was just at a museum for the Indians, they have 1,000 gods, and all these gods, like so this isn't that far off. All these gods are split into 1,000 different things. They all like it's crazy to see. But like this is how, when you study these like Indo-Pakistani area regions, a lot of the Shirk stuff gets tied in because that's where they come from. So they have to feel at home at this.
And this is the other point I wanted to talk about, because this is where you really start going astray with things, right? Mm-hmm. Because what they're doing is they're pandering to their Christian audience that's at these forums, right? Yeah. They're just, and if anybody doesn't know what pandering is, it's basically you're doing stuff purposely just to get these people on your side.
Try to fit in,
Yeah, so you're trying to fit in, you want them to like identify with you, you want to find some common things. This is the same thing that early Christians did for why we have all these holidays today. Mm-hmm. So if anybody's done any research on like Christmas, Easter, any of these holidays that we had that now we understand them to be like Christian holidays, they actually aren't from Christianity at all. What did the Christians do? they went to these pagan places, and these pagans were celebrating things like, the solstices, winter coming, you're right. And what they said is, okay, you know what? Let's create a holiday that ties up with their holiday. That way it'll be easier for them to convert to Christianity. So this is where Christmas comes from. It has nothing to do with the birth of Jesus Christ. They just said, okay, let's make it the birth of Jesus and let them do the same thing, right? Now tie it back to what happens, right? When you're in the TMOA or cult mindset, it's easy to justify things using our own logic. This is why as Muslims, our logic has to be supported or based in the Quran and the Sunnah. There's a quote that I don't remember where it's from, but it basically emphasizes the point of, as Muslims, our logic and our intellect is supposed to submit to what Allah says and to what Rasul says. Because there's some things that just, if we use our logic, we will come to a totally different decision than what Allah said. And the quote says, basically, if we relied solely on our logic or our intellect, you know how when we're making wudu and we have kuffs on, we can just wipe over the top of our socks. But logically, we would think, I should wipe the bottom because that's the dirty part. But we don't wipe the bottom. And that's basically what the quote says. If we relied on our logic and intellect, we would wipe the bottom of our kuffs to make wudu, right? So think about that when you're trying to use your own logic to justify these things. Because I've been here, we've all been here. I can justify these things using my own logic. Like, okay, you know what? We can celebrate the birth of Jesus. Why? Because we celebrate the birth of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, right? So yeah, makes sense. Or I could celebrate all their birthdays because I celebrate my own birthday. So if I can celebrate mine, then I got to be able to celebrate Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If I can celebrate Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then I can celebrate Isa alayhi salam's birthday. And if I can celebrate these guys because they're all manifestations of God, I can celebrate my own Sheikh's birthday because he's a manifestation of God. And then where do you stop?
Slippery slope, yeah. And you never really do stop, because like, if you're okay with doing this small thing, you can eventually work your way up to doing bigger things. And so like, this is okay. So Shaji, this, okay, well, now that I'm a Christian, Jesus is God, or it's hard. Like, you don't ever stop because no one's stopping you, and it's encouraged because, oh, she's so brave or she's so smart. Like, no, you are going astray, but no one's going to tell you otherwise. So you can keep going astray and go further and further down the road.
Yeah, and then look at it like, of course, these celebrations and things, they feel good. They're fun times. Like, even me being Muslim for my entire life, like, just because of growing up in the culture we grew up in, you feel in the culture the Christmas spirit. Everybody's happier. Everybody's feeling good.
All the music playing.
Complete Shirk.
Lights are on.
Yeah, exactly. So like, it does feel good, but does it go back to what Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and Allah told us to do? Yep. Where did Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam say we should celebrate the birth of Isa alayhi salam? To my knowledge, into all the resources and all the scholars I've checked, there's nothing that says that, right? There's nothing of, even like, for instance, like we're not going to go down the Mawlad or Milad argument. We're not going to go down that road, but at least the Mawlad, you have a hadith where Rasulullah fasted on Monday because it was his birthday.
Yeah.
Where do you have anything like that related to Isa alayhi salam? Nothing, right? And then again, going down this road, we have like Amr mentioned, like these little slippery slopes. You make these little things, right? Prophet Muhammad warned us specifically about this in his last sermon, where he says, Shaitan has given up on all the major matters, but be careful of the little things, because the little things pretty much, I'm paraphrasing, leads to all the big things, where you go into these events where you might have good intentions. You want to give dawah to Christians. You want to do you want to connect with them. You want to find a common thing, right? So you're wishing a Merry Christmas. You're celebrating the birth of Jesus alayhi salam. You're talking about, Jesus is a manifestation of God, using the same exact language they're using, but you're going down that slippery slope, and you're just basically enabling them to commit shirk. There's nothing that I'm pretty sure out of these events, these Christians hearing these words felt more confident about the Muslims becoming Christian than the Christians. Yeah, exactly. Than the other way around.
And I think that's something you have to be careful of, especially in America, right? Because I can speak on me as like going to college, right? When I'm at VCU, they have 1,000 events for a bunch of different things, and they have like we're giving out outreach stuff, and you might be at an event, and they're like, okay, well, we're giving out shirts and stuff. It's a whole like LGBT event. Like how did I get here? So like you have to be careful because you don't know like what they're planning, and you're just trying to show support. Oh, this is the Soul Spirit, all this crap. But in reality, you're in a totally wrong place. And if someone saw you like, is that Amr? What? Like so like you have to be careful about what you're doing, because you can just be there and not know what's going on, and then get caught up.
And we had actually a perfect, very public situation that happened with Omar Suleiman, where you know he's a lot into interfaith and social justice and all these different things, and he works with a lot of different groups. Long story short, he was caught out there and basically participating in their worshiping activities with LGBT priests, Christian priests, Jewish priests, doing anointings and all these. He got caught up in it.
Oil crosses and stuff. It's like, okay,
exactly.
That looks crazy. But like his intention probably wasn't just like, okay, I'm just gonna go here, be like the Muslim, so I can show like, okay, they know a Muslim who's not crazy, right? Because the perception on Muslims is that they're crazy, they're terrorists, right? So like you're trying to be like this person who can outreach that, but sometimes this isn't the play. Like sometimes you just have to go home because like it's crazy out here.
Yeah, exactly. So that's really all I wanted to talk about. There's open. You can anybody. We have a few more minutes left. I only plan on going on for like a half hour. So
look at you.
Look at me. I'm following Amr's advice. You know what I mean? Amr's behind the scenes. Amr's like our producer and director and
producer. Time not see all of the above. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have you right.
So you guys can go ahead and feel free to type in questions into the chat, and we'll stay on for another 10 to 13 minutes. And
we're being petty with this video. Oh yeah, Allah.
I seen those comments by that
guy's there every video, like a minute after post, he has notifications on. Alhamdulillah. I'm hoping he can learn something from one of the videos he watches this.
Yeah, and it's really like, if you think it's petty, that's fine. I mean, it's not fine, but I mean, that's on you, really. Yeah. If people think these things are petty. But let me tell you that these things that we're posting are actually really nothing in the grand scheme of things, because there's so many bad things in TMOA that, like I said, this actually aligns with the TMOA belief, because they do believe that human beings can be actual manifestations, one with, or the essence or the being of Allah. This is exactly the teachings of Sheikh Mubarak Jilani. He teaches people that we actually have a piece of Allah inside of us, of every human being. Like, this is what he teaches. So yes, Shirk is definitely not petty. So hopefully these people start recognizing this, and hopefully especially the people that are like on the fence, and the people that try to justify these things, people that try to, I talked to somebody the other day, and I use the word as apologist for a lot of these people. But the individual I talked to the other day had an actual better term, and they're actually enablers, because they're not actually being apologetic for them. They're actually enabling these people to keep engaging in this falsehood. Let's see, Sheikh Hakeem Quick, who is well learned and well traveled, breaks the pagan worshiping and Christian holidays. I got to watch some of his videos, but he actually has a whole series that hopefully we're going to be posting or reposting on our channel about spiritual abuse and cults. So go ahead and check his channel out. If someone could maybe find a link to his channel real quick and post it in the chat for everybody, that'll be good too. Ibn Arabi was executed for beliefs like that. Yeah, there's Ibn Arabi. He's a very controversial figure in the history of Islam. You have scholars who say one thing or another about him. But the bottom line is that, one, even if you are very well read and have very high level of reading comprehension, reading his stuff is like reading Shakespeare. Like you could read it once and you're like, what did he just say? Read it twice, like, huh? You might read it 5 times and still be like, I still don't understand what he's saying, right? So I advise people to stay away from his works. And people mistranslate, misinterpret. It's better to start with the basics, start with the straight up Holy Quran and the Sunnah, and don't jump into these high level controversial Sufi type teachings and beliefs.
wanted to talk about Noor and her comments on Sahaba, or you at least, because I
Okay,
already spoke
yeah.
on it. That's crazy.
Yeah, the so again, this falls into the same thing I mentioned earlier about the people that have like a sound basis in Islam with the Quran and the Sunnah. We know certain things, right? We know that, you know, Allah is one. We have a basic understanding of Tawheed, so that when we hear things like they said about Isa alayhi salam or about Christmas, it automatically spikes our radar. I'm like, hey, this isn't right. Like, and a lot of us know that, you know, we're not supposed to insult the Sahabas, any of them, right? Any of the Sahabas, and what it takes to be a Sahaba. And if Hanif's still in the chat, he could post some more information on this to correct me if I'm wrong. Well, basically, it's anybody who was Muslim during the time of Rasul Sallallahu and actually met and interacted with Rasul Sallallahu, right? So we know as Muslims, we are not supposed to disrespect them. We're not supposed to talk bad about them. We're not supposed to insult them. This is something that actually comes from Shiite belief.
Yeah.
Right. So Noor and them, Noor, Mubarak Jalani, they openly insult and curse Sahaba like Hind,
Muawiyah.
radiallahu anha, and her husband Abu Sufyan, radiallahu anhu, and his son Muawiyah, radiallahu anhu, right? And this is not the position of Sunni Muslims, of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'at. We don't say anything about them, right? We respect them. They're highly respected Sahabas, right? So if we curse them, we're actually cursing ourselves, right? We actually, technically, according to what the scholars say, we actually leave the fold of Islam. So, but again, those of us that know this, and even those people that are on the fence, the people that are the enablers, people that know this, they try to make excuses for it or try to reword what they're saying. But this is the teaching and belief of TMOA. There's whole lectures on it. They have a whole Karbala series where they talk very openly about cursing the Sahabas, certain Sahabas. They take the Shiite stance, even to the point of Mubarak Jalani actually teaches that Ali, radiallahu anhu, was supposed to be the first Khalifa, and that Abu Bakr, radiallahu anhu, and Umar, radiallahu anhu, like kind of stole it from him. He teaches that directly in his discourse. So this is not the Islamic belief. And I urge TMOA members to learn the proper belief, and for the enablers to stop enabling them and actually speak out against these things that they say about the Sahabas.
Yeah, especially because like there's a hadith which I just heard like maybe a week ago. I was listening to the Sirah by Yasser Khatib. He was like, there's a hadith about like, do not insult the Sahabas, because if you spend amount of gold, it would not equal to like 1% of like what they've done for me. So like, don't insult my companions. So like that's a really serious thing to do, especially when it's known that they are the best of Muslims. Like, as great of a Muslim as you could be today, you're not going to compare to them. Period.
Period. So let's see. It's referring to marriages between cousins in the Muslim community. UK's Environment Minister Phil Wallace said, if you have a child with your cousin, the likelihood is there will be a genetic problem. Yeah, I don't know much about whoever Phil Wallace is or whatever quotes he has about genetic problems. We have in Islam, cousins can get married in Islam, and we default to what Allah and Prophet Muhammad said. Of course, there's cultural context and these sorts of things, but as far as what Allah and Rasul said, cousins can get married. Ali radiallahu anh was the cousin of Fatima radiallahu anha, and their children had no genetic issues whatsoever. So Allah knows best. That I'm not an expert on that field, and I'm not an expert in genetics, so I can't really answer that part of it. Gloria Miller asked, the Quran says those that say our creator is God and follow the straight path shall have nothing to fear or to regret. They shall forever dwell in paradise as a reward for their labors. Okay. Why does MG claim Ali taught him over the other Khalifa? Do you think this is based on his Shiite belief? So this claim of Ali radiallahu anh, teaching him in the spiritual world. When you learn more about like, especially Sufi cults, right? Or if you just learn, if let's just take a step back, let's just talk about cults, period. And you start identifying the common themes that appear in cults, right? So one of the common themes that appear in all cults, whether it's a Buddhist cult, Christian cult, non-denominational cult, Islamic cult, is that they claim some kind of direct connection to the divine or to God, whether they claim to be God or they claim to speak directly to God or represent God's will. That's like one of the themes that you see, how these people claim their status, right? But you'll see, long story short, in Sufi cults, there's certain key figures in Sufi groups or Sufi belief that people connect with, right? So one of them you'll see is Sheikh Abdul Qadir Jilani, right? So much that some Sufi groups say that if your silsila or your chain doesn't directly connect to Sheikh Abdul Qadir Jilani, then actually you're not a real Sufi group, right? There's a lot that say that. And you'll have these high-level Sufi figures. Khalifa Ali, radiallahu anh, is one of these figures, right? Because there's a hadith, and I don't know about its authenticity. I haven't looked that up, but there's a hadith that says that Ali, radiallahu anh, is the gate to knowledge, right? Like it says something like, if Rasul says, like, I'm the city of knowledge, and Ali, radiallahu anh, is the gate to that city, or something to that effect. So what you have, especially these fraudulent sheikhs, like the previous leader of TMOA, is they claim these unverifiable ties to these key figures, right? So Ali or Mubarak Jilani, to claim his status, to impress people, he says, oh yeah, Khalifa Ali taught me. Why? Because that's a high figure in Sufi world, right? And he says, oh yeah, also I'm a relative of Sheikh Abdul Qadir Jilani, right? So they claim this, and it happens in the spiritual world. And of course, you can't verify anything, because he said, I had it in a dream. I took bayat directly in this magical court of Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Yeah, exactly. So this is what they do to claim status, right? So that's pretty much why he claimed that.
And one of the things about Sufis that I've looked into is and how they go astray is because when it could start off good, right? But then when they start competing with each other, right? So they have to try to get a higher status than other Sufi groups. So they'll just start saying more outlandish stuff. And then it's like, okay, well, you talk to him. Well, I saw him in the dream. Well, he hugged me. Well, I shook his hand. Well, I married his daughter. Like, so they'll just keep going crazier and crazier. Yeah. And we're the top Sufi group. No, you guys are the top Shirk group. Like, that's how, like, you guys have gone too far now.
That's a good point, because like, look at, just off the top of my head, look at the crazy claims that the previous leader for TMOA has said, right? Oh, I learned directly from, my grandmother told me that Ali used to steal me away while I was a kid and teach me, right? So he learned directly from Khalifa Ali. He's related to Sheikh Abdul Qadir Jilani, rahimahullah. Allah knows best if that's true or not. He says, you know, I'm the seventh sultan. I'm actually Allah walking on this earth, right? Then he says about the Mahdi, oh yeah, I met him. He's nothing, right? He should be happy he met me, right? The Mahdi is gonna come in 2 years. He said that like 20 years ago. I can revive the dead. I could go into a morgue and bring someone back alive. Just look at all these claims, right? And there's a quote, and I need to find the source of the quote, but it's said a lot by a lot of Sufi oriented scholars, and it's a warning to all of us. And it says, beware of the maker of claims.
I posted that recently, right? About like how they'll make claims and then obesity will be among them. Let me find the hadith, but yeah.
Exactly. So it's just beware. If someone in one breath is saying, look at me, I'm this, I'm that, I'm the best, I'm the greatest, and I'm so humble. Like you gotta like wake up and kind of start questioning what they're saying. Let's see. I actually have some questions that they don't want to be in a public forum. What about the good Muslim men and women that did follow his teachings and their legacy? I would like you to shed light on those people. So yeah, so if you have questions that you don't want to do in public, if you go to our main channel and go to about, There's some links there that you can contact us directly, or if you just want to send me a text message directly or a WhatsApp message, my number is 607-624-8100. And either me or somebody else can talk to you directly to try to answer your questions the best that we can. We are in contact with many people from TMOA, and we keep everything confidential, whether they're for us or against us, it doesn't matter. But as far as the good people, like that's like 90% of TMOA. Like you don't hear us going on there like saying, oh, TMOA, they're a bunch of bad people and they're so horrible and they're so conniving and this and that. You don't hear us saying these things. We talk about their beliefs, and we talk about the actions and the worshiping practice and the things that primarily are resulting from the leaders of TMOA. And it's unfortunate that a lot of the followers have got caught up into this, but there are a lot of good Muslim men and women that, and here's the main thing, because I don't want to go too deep into this topic, because we could talk forever about this. The people of TMOA have to realize that any of the good that has happened in TMOA has happened directly as a result of their own efforts. Who bought the lands? Members of TMOA. Who migrated all the people from the cities to the lands and sacrificed their money, their families, and all this? Who did this? The members of TMOA. Who started the schools? Who put on the retreats? Who conducted the classes? Who trained the handful of people that became doctors and lawyers? Who did all these things? The parents, the founding fathers, the elders, the people that actually started TMOA, the people that were leaders before Mubarak Jilani came and after he left. Because you got to remember, he hasn't been here for 40 years. So TMOA, the 90% of them are good Muslims just trying to their best to be good Muslims and practice correct Islam. The problem is that the Islam that they were taught and the Islam that they learned and the Islam that they practice currently is actually very far from true and correct and authentic Islam. Same person said, it seems like it's all negative. Allah forgive us all, but I think you're beating a dead horse at this point. Spread Islam without diminishing other people. This is a common thing that people do, is they try to say, okay, let's just forget about these thousands of people that are practicing shirk, even though there are parents, our friends, siblings, husbands and wives, children, people that we love, people that we care for. Should we just say, okay, you know what, we're going to forget about TMOA, leave them alone, and we're just going to start giving dawah to some other cult groups? Yeah, we plan on helping other people as well, but we can't ignore the mess on our front step and go clean up somebody else's house.
Yep, because then the people say, well, what about the place you come from? Are they all out of shirk? No. So you can't expand your reach until you have hold of what you have. So we don't have hold of it yet, because clearly with the defense that the people have in confidence and stuff and people still believe it, clearly we haven't done enough, because everything you guys are reaching, you guys are bitter, petty, like, okay, well, no, you guys are still on shirk, so we're not done yet.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, at a point, it is the horse is almost dead. It seems like it's dead, but no, it's not actually dead. It's still alive and kicking.
Yeah, moving around.
And people are still getting caught up into it. The horse is still giving people rides. So, you know, we're going to talk about it. And for as long, even if say, for, you know, if Allah decided to dismantle TMOA tonight and end it, and everybody, alhamdulillah, leaves the beliefs and starts following true Islam, we still will always use our experiences to try to help other people, because this is our past. This is our story as well. We're not going to just deny that all this stuff happened to us and say, okay, let's just forget that. But we can use what we've experienced to help other people.
Assalamu alaikum. Sorry, I was late, just working. So a couple of things. I think y'all covered everything very well. Just want to add a couple of things. I'm sure everybody remembers Musa alayhi salam and Harun, Fir'aun, and the Bani Israel, in which they were basically enslaved 400 and something years or whatever. Musa comes, saves them, Allah parts the sea, you would say, wow, I mean,
Reparations?
we're
Oh.
done with Fir'aun. We're done with any of this stuff. Why beat a dead horse? And as you can see, the horse gets up and keeps running, the horse of Shirk. As you see, you have to continue to beat it until you die. If Musa alayhi salam led his people away from Fir'aun and the oppression, and the things that they were doing, yet they still found themselves engulfed in Shirk. So it never ends. The battle against Shirk doesn't end until you die, because the hadith of Rasulullah in which he says that a person might live their whole life doing as a Muslim and doing all the things that will get them to Jannah until their hands spanned away from it, and then they will do the things that will get them make them to enter hell, and then they will enter hell and remain there. And vice versa, a person might be doing things that would get them into hellfire, and this is in the actual 40 hadith and Nawawi. I believe it's number 4 or one of the earlier ones, but you can check their actual 40 hadith. But so the person might be living their life in shirk or whatever else until they would surely fall into the fire, until Allah will change something within their heart or within their environment or whatever, and then they would do the things that would get them to Jannah. But the point of that is, no, the horse is never beating a dead horse when you're talking about shirk. And when you should constantly remind people to beware of this thing, because it is the most dangerous thing. You know, you always tell your kids, look both ways before you cross the street. Look both ways before you cross the street, right? Hold my hand, whatever the case may be, because of the danger. It's the most dangerous thing for us. Quiet, little girl. Also, another thing is that in the comments, I was reading the comments, the sister Gloria had mentioned the ayah about the people who fear Allah. I can't remember the ayah that she posted because I looked at it quickly. It's in one of the comments. It's before the last brother who was talking about beating a dead horse. Before that, Gloria posted something, and I think that she was referencing some of the things as far as what you guys were covering about the Christians and how their beliefs and how, you know, the TMO people, which is mind-boggling to me. I saw the video, but I guess I missed the part where the young lady was saying it's hard to not think of Jesus as God. That should be the easiest thing possible as a Muslim. That's the easiest thing, actually, because that is step 1. It's Tawheed. La ilaha, la ilaha. There are no gods, no deities, none. You negate everything and everyone. Illallah, except Allah. So if that's hard for you, your Islam is severely in question. So let's let's review that. But what Gloria, I believe she was referring to, is the fact that the ayah, what she was saying is that whoever believes that they will have no sadness, nor will they grieve. But Rasulullah, and I think she can correct me if I'm wrong. I'm thinking because a lot of people use that as a way to say, you know, hey, the Christians, you know, they believe in God or whatever. So
that's what she was saying. Okay.
No, there's no chance because Rasulullah clarifies this statement, and this is in Sahih Muslim. It is authentic, and Rasulullah says, according to Abu Hurairah, who reported from Rasulullah, by the one in whose hand is the soul of Muhammad, none from this nation of Jews and Christians who hears of me and then dies without having faith in my message, but he will be an inhabitant of the fire. So let me put that in plain English. Any Jew or Christian, or any person other than Jews or Christians that have heard Muhammad, Islam, the religion, that have heard of it, they know what it is. Just like every person at that Muslim Christian forum who they sat there and basically tried to meld the religions together. It's hard not to think of Jesus as God and all those things. Rasulullah has said, any one of them, it doesn't matter who it is, if they heard of him and they don't believe and they don't accept Islam, their seat will be in hell. I'm sorry. This is not my words. That's what it says. So we could go into more detail. We don't have time, but we could go into more detail about why that is, and how I know a lot of people who have Christian family and friends and they're still kind of on the fence of Islam and Christianity because there's so much misinformation out there. But I feel like that we should always mention the most important thing and not sugarcoat it. So in the spirit of not sugarcoating anything, anyone who does not accept Islam and the Islam taught and brought by Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and carried forth by his companions, which is well known, will find themselves outside of the actual religion of al-Islam, and anyone outside of the actual religion of al-Islam will not have what is required. It's just like an entrance into a college or university or whatever. You need certain documents or certain qualification to get in. The only way you can get in for your deeds to even be looked at to see if you qualify is first you have to have Islam. And anyone who doesn't have it, they don't qualify, and it doesn't matter what they've done in their life. This is what Allah says. This is what Rasulullah says. We don't have any say in that, but these are the rules. Let's try to follow them, whether we understand them or not. And hopefully we will be saved. And we hope for all the people, the Christians, the Jews, the family members, the friends, and everyone else will be saved. But they have to accept Islam for that to happen.
And this is the problem that is not only really prevalent in TMOA, but it's prevalent in the Ummah, especially in the West, because just I think it's called like pluralism or whatever, where people start, like you mentioned, molding religions, and everybody's going to make it there as long as you believe in God, or you'll be saying like, I just have to be a good person and all these different things. As Muslims, we don't believe in this, and you will gain a lot more respect if you are a person that actually has beliefs and holds to your beliefs and aren't afraid to say what your beliefs are. Yeah, it might be a little awkward when someone asks you that question. Hey, so do you believe I'm Christian? I'm a good person. Are you saying I'm going to hell if I don't become Muslim? Yeah, that's what my Lord says. And I'm sorry, that's what he says. So you need to become Muslim. Because if we could all just be good people and just believe in God, then there would be no need to send Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. There would be no need to send the Quran. There would be no need to send any of the prophets or any of the holy books that I've been trying to guide mankind to the straight path. Let's see. The one Mike brought up the point about there, why is it only the guy in the Waco series? He said, why is it that God only speaks to the leaders of these cults, and he always tells them to marry the wives and daughters of followers? That's like it's a classic cult thing. Like we mentioned this before, but like all these cults are the same. It's literally the same. Whether you go Muslim cult, Buddhist cult, yoga cult, guru cult, Christian cult, Jewish cult, they all use the same exact techniques. Even Jeffrey Dahmer was using the same exact things, right? I got a divine message. There's going to be, what do you call it? Mayhem Day or some crap where they're supposed to go and kill people. Like they all do the same exact thing.
Yeah. I mean, it keeps working. So
yeah.
Same play. Derrick Henry in the backfield, yes, sir. And hand the ball off.
I form tight.
I form close. Yep. Same high formation. Up the middle. Pull the guard. Yeah. It worked. 8 yards. Like
let's see. Mike also mentioned that speaking truth about abuse only diminishes the perpetrators. Sharing common stories can be healing and validating to the victims. Easy solution. If you don't like the program, change the channel. That's a very good point. If a person feels that the content that we're providing is beating a dead horse, and you personally have the message and you personally have turned away from the falsehood of TMOA, like you don't have to watch our stuff. That's fine.
You make your own content. I would love to, because I'm trying to get our content to be shorter overall, so that not just because again, if you're part of the Jamaat or you come from the community, you want to have the show as long as possible, because like this is something you know about. But if you're not from the community, you don't know about these stories. So like you don't want to hear a 3-hour story from someone. And like, so if you feel that the content that you would make will be better than ours, please make your own content. Like
we'll post it for you.
Yeah, or as we say all the time, they can come on. They can come on and explain exactly why it's beating a dead horse. I guarantee most of the time, the people who think it's beating a dead horse, they don't even understand the horse that's being beaten. This is the horse that doesn't die, and we ourselves are not strong enough to kill it. we can only tell you this is a dangerous horse that needs to be beaten. But
that's a good point.
Yeah, but we don't have the ability to actually stop.
Play the horse,
we have to just keep reminding. It's like what's that kudzu, right? That plant that they brought over from Asia somewhere. I guess I'm showing my age, but so back in the day,
No
I
idea,
guess
go ahead, explain.
they brought kudzu. It's like I think it's called kudzu. And somebody can maybe knows what I'm talking about in the chat. But basically, it was a plant that they brought over from Asia or somewhere, China, I guess. And I guess they were saying that they did it on purpose. But basically, it's something that the plant never dies, and so it just keeps growing, and like it's like a weed or something. It's like vines and stuff. It grows all over stuff, and like literally, you just have to keep fighting it. You can't really get rid of it. At least that's what I was told. Might be a fable, but the point is that you're never going to get rid of Shirk by just saying, oh, well, we're done. You know what? People will always have that, the tendency, number one, to revert back to whatever they knew if they're not taught properly, and to keep reminding yourself, man, okay, this is Shirk. And because Shaitan is always going to try to sprinkle it into everything, every single area you get into, he will try to sprinkle that in, because what he wants you to do is go to hell. You think he's going to be like, oh man, wow, TMOA is defeated. All right, well, that's it. I'll just leave him alone. No, he's going to try to find a different way to reintroduce that same issue in your life. See, whether it's Christianity, Judaism, Islam, everything, he's going to try to continue to do that. Even with the atheists, he will keep working to make sure they stay outside of the actual teachings. And that is, there is no melding, or there's no partners with Allah. God is above and beyond his creation. He doesn't mix with them. He has no need to. That would actually diminish his ability in many ways as a creator. He created it, the creation, exactly how he wanted it. He doesn't need to mix with it. He created you with your weaknesses and strengths and all those things exactly as it was needed to be. Now he's got to mix and become part of the creation for what? It doesn't even make any sense. Not that we need to make sense of it to believe it. Allah says this is the way it is. The messengers that he sent, all of them have said this is the way it is. So we believe that, and we act upon that, and we make sure that we don't waver in that. We make sure that we don't find it hard to believe that Jesus is not the Son of God, or hard to believe that God is not 3 in 1. It's not as easy to believe, because God has never said that he was 3 in 1. Just some man said that.
And that's like, the brother also, when he mentioned, like, to be to me, to you, your way, and he doesn't think we're helping in his opinion. That's fine. Everybody's welcome to have their opinion. That's fine. You can share your opinions. And again, if you wanted to do something different, we will be the first to say, okay, do it. We'll help you do it. We said that multiple times, right? Because we do recognize that there's not going to be just one voice or one strategy that's going to reach every single person. We try to present our dawah that's going to reach the most people. And as far as your comment about saying that you don't believe it's helping in your opinion, but we actually have facts and evidence and proof to show that it is actually helping. People are contacting us and leaving the belief set of TMOA. They're correcting their beliefs. So we know it's actually helping.
It might not help you, but like, again, YouTube is a free platform, right? They don't stop you from posting. If you feel that there's a better way to give dawah to the people of the Jamaat and TMOA, please feel free to do that. Like, we're not stopping you. Like, our content isn't the end all be all for content to give dawah. You are free to make your own videos. All right, no one's stopping you. We're not gonna like, oh, well, we're gonna strike down your videos because you're talking about the Jamaat. It's not gonna happen. All right, so please make your own content if you hate our content. Is that simple?
And on top of that, just to beat a dead horse, but no, but even we were having a conversation with a brother, and he was talking about how quite a few young men that he was having a meal with or whatever, how they had expressed that though they might not even necessarily agree with us in particular or our approach, or might not even like us personally, but they realize that yes, what we're saying is correct. It makes sense, and actually they're coming to the realization that what they were living and what they were told and what they were taught wasn't Islam, and most of it was lies. Actually, probably 99% of it was lies. So they came to realize that directly from us making the videos. So
Yes.
I say that, how could it be said that it's beating a dead horse when it actually is having some effect? Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. Yeah, and then Mike brought up a good point too about, like, we said this multiple times, that we're always going to be here to try to help people tell their stories, because we do recognize the healing aspect of sharing their stories. And a lot of people don't actually know that until they actually do connect with other people and tell their stories. And we're putting it out there so that other people can see the real worldly effects of being involved in cults, being involved in spiritual abuse. So we're always, no matter where we, hopefully we move on to other bigger and different things, but we will always try to be a platform for, if people want to come share their stories and get these things off their chest, whether it's publicly on their show or privately to us. There is a very huge healing aspect to that, and many people will never move beyond a certain point in, I guess you could say, the progression or in their healing or in their separation from a cult, until they actually share these stories with people that have woken up from the indoctrination, from the cult mindset. And like I just can't explain how great an impact it has been on for people that have had the opportunity to do that. And again, you're helping other people that have gone through the same thing. Some people, a lot of people contact us just to tell their story and ask the question, have other people experienced the same thing? And then when we say, yes, people have experienced the same exact thing you did, then it provides a big relief to them. Let's see.
And I think, like, multiple people have actually said that it felt like a huge weight was lifted off of my shoulders when they came on the show, or they talked to us at other times or whatever, just getting it out and hearing other people. It's like it's a huge weight that comes off of people's, feels like they say the monkey off your back or whatever. So definitely, it's not about us, but we would be lying if we sat here and told you that we don't know directly of an impact that it's having on people. It's not from us. Allah is the one who guides people. We're just a tool or a hammer or whatever the case may be that is used to help people. And we say alhamdulillah for us being allowed to be to do that. But by no means is it not having an effect. And even if it's just one person, even if just one person said, you know what, you made hours and hours of shows and talked or whatever the case may be, and I looked at it, I heard what you said, I did the research, I looked back, I matched up with my beliefs and made sure they matched with Islam, and I did that because of the effort that you guys made. That is better, according to what Rasulullah says, is better than the world and everything in it. So I say alhamdulillah for everyone involved in this R2F project, for the efforts that are made, and whether anyone feels like it's beating a dead horse or not, for you guys and for guys and girls, because a lot of people are helping and working, that inshallah you will see the reward, as Rasulullah says, of what is in the world and better than what's in the world and everything in it for your efforts, because we definitely have helped more than one person. So let's look forward to that.
You get another question of, like, do we have actual conversations besides just posting stuff on social media? Yes, actually, most of the stuff we do is actually behind the scenes with direct conversations with people, hours and hours of conversation. And people that, like, even from the people that I've been dealing with directly, have probably realized a shift in my availability, because I just can't be available for everybody. And there's other people that members of the R2F team deal with and talk with directly, because they have different connections. So most of our work is actually And the most beneficial parts of our work are that, I mean, the ones that we can see direct results from are those direct conversations, because, you know, the comment sections and people trolling, like you can't really have a productive conversation that way, right? Because we have multiple people that respond from our R2F channel and might not even have the context of the whole conversation. You can't have a real conversation in comments. So we talk to people all the time, like, you know, contact us directly. If you have any questions, if you want to refute us privately or whatever, go ahead, contact us. We're game. We'll listen to you. You know, we'll have that conversation. But yeah, most of our stuff is with direct conversations, and the stuff that's going up on YouTube, that's just one aspect of the dawah that we give.
We only have a show once a week, really. So like, if you think that that's all we do, that the stuff that goes up prior to the show, the things leading up to the show, things talk about in the group chat, and our like goals moving forward for the week, that's all part of it. But people don't see it because it's behind the scenes.
Yeah. And yeah, and anybody, like if like you encounter any people that are R2F supporters and not actually R2F members, and you know you feel hostility in the comments and people's calling names and all that, you know, first off, I'd like to encourage all the people that are supporting R2F and all the people that want to give dawah to TMOA. We have to try to like refrain from name calling, but also understand that when you're coming in and engaging and you might feel this resistance, it's primarily from how most of us and people that are on a certain wavelength or on a certain, I guess you could say, side of this, the hostility that is coming from TMOA supporters and apologists. But as being people that are trying to give dawah to people that are following this guidance, we have to act better. That goes for myself first and foremost, and it goes for anybody that's representing R2F, and it goes for anybody that's supporting R2F. So when these people go in the comments and they say stuff like, "Oh, your show's being petty," go ahead and engage with them, tell them how they're wrong, but let's try our best not to say, "Oh, you're stupid," or "You're dumb," you don't, you know, let's try to refrain from that, because that's going to make people reject, you know. And some people, the one brother, I forget, I think his username is like, was General Ali. He made a good point that the people are coming and watching, whether they think they're coming to just reject what we're saying, or they're coming to refute us, or they're just coming to watch the channel for entertainment. For some reason, Allah is sending them this direction. So even though they may not be really have any intent of getting anything good out of it, we can't support that by showing them the worst sides of ourselves. So, and that's a reminder for myself first, of course, and then everybody else. He said, "What horse doesn't die?" LOL. The horse is Shirk.
Yeah, a powerful horse.
Yeah, it's been around since Shaitan. So that's always going to exist, and no matter what, we're going to be trying to guide people, whether it's TMOA or people that's like, TMOA is not the only cult. There's lots of them out there. Mike Russell put in the comments that he's recovering from a Roman Catholic, one of the biggest cults in the world. "I've been healing since I left. I tried to share what helped deprogramming me from false teaching and abuse." Again, see right there, look, we have Mike Russell, who's he's not Muslim. He's from a Christian-based cult. Yeah. And if anybody has any idea, you know, of the stuff that's happened in the Roman Catholic Church and the cover-ups, and, you know, like we can go on and on for days. And again, like he mentioned, even for us, we're still recovering, we're still learning, we're still healing. It's a lifelong struggle that we all got to go through.
We demand reparations. Oh.
I love that, Mama. We're about to have a whole nother hour conversation on that.
Yeah. Well, I won't say who, but there's somebody wants white people to have reparations. I don't know who that dude is, but if y'all wanted to, it had to be like a side show. But
oh my God, I can debate anyone on that, please.
Yeah. We can get into reparations and why some rando believes that some white people also should get reparations.
I
I'm
can't
just,
believe someone would think that. That's crazy.
Hey, listen, it's wild, but people believe a lot of things. Also, listen, we tackle all types of, let's just say, problematic beliefs that don't come from the creator. So for you, even Mr. Mike Russell, you can you can come on the show and explain why you're still a Christian. I mean, I'm sure you've heard all this show and about what is shirk and what isn't. Definitely, Christianity is shirk in its purest form. And when we say shirk, as in it's attributing to God what doesn't belong there, or giving things to other people which actually only belongs to God. And so, if you want a day on the show to defend or leave shirk, you're welcome too. I mean, we're not going to John Joffer's like, oh, why are you doing this? But still, I only say that because he's in the comments, and we're not going to be get on one person or another. We believe that Islam is the correct way, and any forms of shirk, whether it be TMOA or Christianity, anything, we'll deal with it, or at least I will. I mean, we can do a separate show, and I would love to do it. I debate Christians all the time. They usually just leave kind of saying that they're going to come back with the answer to the questions, but they really never do. So it's something I haven't done in a while. So I'll do it anyway. But sorry about that little side note.
You're good. You're good. Is Persian Empress married? Allah knows best, but she is an empress of Persia, so I don't know if she's looking for a husband or not. So we'll see. But anyway,
I'm asking to marry people. Weirdos.
But alhamdulillah, I think I'm all set. If anybody has any last minute questions, I'm going to sign off in a few seconds unless there's any last questions. All right, I think we're all set. So we'll see you guys on Saturday. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Reparations.
Reparations, man.
Yeah, Allah.